In this video, we're going to be discussing colliders in the Gamebryo RPI tool. So I've gone ahead and set up a scene. Let me go ahead and launch the remote viewer. And all I've gotten here is a particle system being affected by gravity, and the particles are changing color and shrinking over the course of their life, so we can clearly tell the difference between a particle that's been alive for a while and a particle that's just been spawned. So to create a collider, you just go ahead and click on the particle system itself, and up here we have Create Collider and Attach to Selected Particle. So we go ahead and bring in our planar collider, which right now nothing is going to collide with it because it's facing to the side, and the actual collision surface of it is pretty small, although you can see now it's slightly above where our emitter is, so the particles are hitting it almost as soon as they come in. So let's go ahead and translate that down just a little bit, and now we can see that the particles are bouncing off of there. I'm going to go ahead and increase the size of this just so we can see it in our window. And now we can see particles going up, coming down, and bouncing off the surface. We can also see that they're bouncing up pretty much just as high as they go when they spawn. And we can control that in two areas. The collider itself has a bounce parameter, and the particle system itself, once you've attached it to a collider, if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll have collision parameters, and you have a bounce control here, also spawn on collide and die on collide. For instance, if we turn on die on collide, as soon as they hit the collider, they're going to disappear. So there are two bounce controls, and these work together with each other. So if we set one of these to 0.5, we'll notice particles don't bounce anywhere near as high before they die, or 0.75. Now they're going to bounce a little bit higher, and we can go ahead and edit that here as well. So these two numbers are going to be multiplied by each other. So if either of them is greater than 1, there's a chance that you could have particles that are going to bounce higher than they would go when they were initially spawned. So in this case, particles are getting much higher in the air. The other control we have on a collider, besides bounce and the dimensions on this one, let's go ahead and pull this back down a little bit, is we can control the type of collider. The base one that you'll get by default is a planar collider, and as we can see, it can collide on either side of it, from the top or from the bottom. And we also have a spherical collider. So let's go ahead and bring the radius on this down a little bit. And we can see that from where they spawn in, they're never quite touching the top of it, and then by the time they get down to the bottom, they're colliding on the inside. But if we take this and translate it down a little ways, now they're colliding on the outside of it. We can go ahead and make that larger to take a look at that. So that's colliders in the Gamebryo RPI tool.